This is our Server 2016 machine that we installed in last session. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to install Active Directory Domain Services, on-premises Active Directory Domain Services in this particular Server 2016. Once AD is working properly, then we will move ourselves to hybrid setup, means we'll configure we'll try to connect our on-premises AD to Azure Active Directory. If we talk about Azure Active Directory, so I'm going to show you the options are users which is available on AD. Okay, domain controller, sorry, server 2016 is ready to use. Let me log in it and check the private IP address which is automatically assigned by the ISP. Now, our server is ready to use. We successfully log in our computer with the help of local administrator. Let's try to configure manual IP address in preferred DNS. The first step to install Active Directory Domain Services in on-premises server 2016 or any server operating system like 2012 or 2019. So you must need to configure preferred and alternate DNS IP address manually. So first of all, need to check the private IP address CMD and type ipconfig. That can help you to find the IP address. So we are getting 192.168.1.8, the IP address of our server 2016. I'm going to use same IP address as a preferred DNS. Open run ncpa.cpl shortcut key that can help you to redirect on page of Ethernet adapter setting. Right click on an Ethernet page, go to the properties, and in the properties we need to select IPv4. Do not change the public IP private IP address automatically. We just need to configure only and only preferred DNS and alternate DNS. So I'm going to use same IP address as a preferred 192.168.1.8, 8.8.8. This is the alternate DNS because we don't have any IP address, and I don't want to take any risk. So let's configure same IP address as a manual. If you want to run the internet, you must need to provide the gateway. So 1.1 is my ISP gateway. Select and OK. This is the first step that you need to configure. Second step, we must need to install a role. Click start, select server manager. This is the procedure to install Active Directory Domain Services. Click add role and features. N number of roles are available in 2016. So we just need to select the Active Directory Domain Services. Next, next. Again, we just need to click next. This is the panel of server roles. So our responsibility to install Active Directory Domain Services. Second option, ADDS Active Directory Domain Services. Select it. Click next and next install. First step, install domain role. Second step, install promote the domain as a server name. Now installation is in progress. It will take time. This is our Azure Active Directory panel. This is our Azure. I'm just going to open the Azure Active Directory page to identify the options which is available. In Azure portal, we just need to click on users. There are n number of users are available that we created in our last session. And now today we are planning to synchronize our on-premises Active Directory user with Azure Active Directory panel. This is our agenda basically. Definitely, Sujoy, you can do that. This is the best practice if you don't have a on-premises domain. So you can create a one virtual machine, install Active Directory services, and synchronize with your Azure AD. So this is the way that you can perform the practical. Yes, you can do that. About how to find ISP gateway, you just need to uh, open your system and type CMD. Just type ipconfig. It will guide you about your gateway as well. So this is the gateway. Now we successfully install our Active Directory domain services role. Only role we need to promote it. So here we are able to find promote this server to domain controller. Click here. Add new forest. So you need to type the domain name that you want to use for your Active Directory users. So in my case, in our case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the same domain name. Remember that we used to establish our custom domain. So remember our custom domain name. Just need to click on Active Directory panel, select custom domain name, and this is the domain name that we purchased from godaddy.com, cloudkaksa.in. Why it is important? Because whenever you configure the domain name on premises, and you will, whenever you try to synchronize the user from on premises to Azure, your use Active Directory on premises Active Directory user should be associated with this particular name. So that's why I'm just going to proceed with this same name, cloudkaksa.in. Click next. DSRM password. The first step, you need to provide the DSRM password, directory service restore mode password, and that can help you in case of a restore. Whenever you try to restore your computer or the system with the help of bare metal or system state backup, then uh, this particular password required to restore. It will verify the each and every settings, required setting, and then give us an option to install. I'm going to use same password that I used for the administrator. So I'm just going to use same user ID and password. Next, next. No need to do anything. It will be verify the NetBIOS name and the NetBIOS responsible to convert your workgroup machine to domain controller. Cloud Kaksa, this is our domain name. Next, again, next, and install. This is the way. This is the procedure that you can use to install your on domain. So guys, if you don't have on premises setup with the VMware workstation or hypervisor or virtualbox, so you can create a virtual machine of server 2016 from Azure and install, use the same computer to install domain services, Active Directory domain services. Fine, install. Now it will take time. To install the Active Directory services, it will take 5 to 7 minutes. This is the domain name. Fine. So we successfully installed Active Directory domain services on premises, and we just need to restart. System will be restart automatic and wait for the uh, up again. And after that, we'll move ourselves to create few Active Directory user, and by using the same users, we will synchronize our on-premises Active Directory user with Azure AD panel. So installation of Active Directory completed. Second step, we need to make a hybrid setup. So we should know about what are the steps that we need to use to manage the hybrid environment. I hope you all of you understand about the concept of Active Directory domain installation. If you have any question or doubt, please let me know. Definitely, we need to install Active Directory domain services on premises. After installation of Active Directory domain services, it may be impact on the speed of your computer because lots of services automatically install when you install the Active Directory domain services. AAD service, AAD Azure Active Directory Domain Services means it will take much time because AAD service is considered as an Active Directory platform as a services that required up to 30 to 40 minutes to install it. So that's why we are trying to configure our Active Directory services on premises to get information related to the proper hybrid environment. Right. Config. I use 2 core of CPU and up to 8 gig of RAM in this machine. Yes, correct. Still in progress. We just need to wait. AAD, Azure Active Directory Domain Services. 1 minute. This is our Azure portal. AAD is a totally separate part. I'm going to show you. Just need to open our Azure portal. Over Azure portal, you will be find the option of AAD. It's a Azure Active Directory Domain Services. This is the AAD basically, Azure AD Domain Service. It's considered as a platform as a services. Okay, and it will take much time because each and every activity means related to the backend which is managed by the provider. So it will take up to 30 to 40 minute time for complete installation of domain over a Azure AAD panel. So basically it is used for the uh, this option is basically applicable, or you can say that this option is basically used for the part of WVD environment, not for the uh, hybrid environment. So in most of cases basically it is used for, we need to use it for the Azure virtual desktop AVD environment. Fine, our domain service means on-premises AD is ready to use. I'm just going to access our on-premises Active Directory domain services and create few users. Cloudcuxer.in, this is our domain name. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to check the Active Directory domain services, and after that we'll create a 2 or 3 different users. Now AD service installed successfully. I'm just going to click on tools. Under the tools, we are able to find Active Directory user and computers. Click here, and this is the page where we can create a user on premises. We successfully install and we are able to find user option. Let's verify the number of users which is available on premise Azure Active Directory. So over Azure we have a class 1, class 2, cloud, GCP, test 2, test 3. Three different multiple users are available. So I'm just going to delete the entire user from Azure because we are planning to synchronize from on-premises. We don't want to continue with Azure Active Directory user. We want to continue with uh, hybrid users, like hybrid user in the sense means on-premises user to Azure. Now, let's talk about the prerequisite, another prerequisite, how you can synchronize the user from on-premises to cloud. Firstly, I'm just going to create a multiple user. One user with name of AWS, the user name that you want to use to create on-premises. This is our user. Provide password. Second user, I'm going to create with name of Azure. This is another user that I want to create on-premises. And third, one more user, telnet. This is another user account that we need to create on-premises. So we successfully created three different users. One is AWS, second is Azure, third one is telnet. Total number of users, three different users are available on-premises. Is it clear? Our responsibility to synchronize AWS, Azure and telnet to this particular panel, to Azure Active Directory panel. This is our motto, this is our agenda. Any question or any doubt, guys? Fine. Let's talk about the settings. What are the settings that you need to use to perform this task? The important part, we have a two different panel. I'm just going to create a proper hybrid setup. This is Azure AD, right? That we log in through our Gmail account, our Outlook account that you use to purchase the subscription. This is on-premises Office where you install one AD service, means on server 2016, right? And in this particular machine we created a three different user, AWS, Azure and I think telnet. These users are available on-premises. This one is our Active Directory panel, Azure AD panel, and over Azure AD panel we are planning to synchronize these users using Azure AD Connect agent. This is the tool that can help us to synchronize on-premises AD user to Azure portal. Okay, but before that, you need to know about what are the settings that require to synchronize on-premises user to cloud, on-prem, and this is our Azure AD. So definitely, it's a part of cloud. Over Azure portal, what you need to do: create one user, create Azure AD user. This is first requirement. Second, make member of global administrator. This is prerequisite. The user that you created, you must need to make it global administrator. This is the prerequisite. Okay. Next, what we need to do, by using this particular tool, by using this particular user, we will synchronize our on-premises. Talk about on-premises. What are the prerequisites that you need to know in case on-premises? First, internet access, the important part. Minimum 20 Mbps speed required. Second prerequisite, system login through administrator. And third prerequisite, download Azure AD Connect. It's a tool. Azure AD Connect, which is free. You can directly download from Microsoft. So guys, this is the prerequisite that we need to know before start to synchronizing our user. I hope all of you understand, guys. Any question about the prerequisite, because it's a backbone. If you really want to implement your hybrid setup by self, so you should know about these types of settings are required. No, no. If you go through the content, this is the part of our examination and interview, because the administrator, architect, developer engineer, security engineer, they all know about the Active Directory importance. So definitely you should know about each and everything, not only the synchronization, because synchronization come into the picture when you have a capability to set up from scratch. So these all are the prerequisite, and let's try to manage the prerequisite, try to implement according to prerequisite. Open Azure Active Directory and create one AD user and should be a member of global administrator. This is the prerequisite that you need to set up over Azure portal. Back to the Azure AD, and in over Azure portal we have already created one user with name of GCP, but I'm just going to create another user. I'm just going to delete it, create a new user from Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, click new, and I'm going to create with same name and should be associated with your own domain, cloudkaksa.in. Display name should be a same, GCP, and we are able to find one more option is related to the roles. So in the roles panel, as per the prerequisite, click users, and we must need to make it global administrator. Select user, it will give you option to type global administrator. This is the role that you must need to uh, use with your Active Directory user. These user can help you to synchronize on-premises machine. Select. Now it become a member of global administrator. I'm going to use default temporary password and create. So we created successfully created one user from Azure Active Directory panel, and the user is a part of global administrator. I'm going to reset the password. Open our user on incognito wizard. GCP at cloud. Oh, sorry. Paste the password, temporary password, and you must need to change password. Now we successfully reset the password for GCP, and we will use the same user on on-premises AD that we installed. We are able to find only one user, the name of GCP that we created. Back to the on-premises, because it's time to synchronize our on-premises Active Directory user and password. Administrator is a local administrator, means that you need to use to log in your local computer, means on-premises server. This is our on-premises machine, and in this particular machine what we need to do, we need to download one tool. The tool name is Azure AD Connect. So let's open Google and type download Azure AD Connect. It will redirect you on the page of Microsoft. So you should download from the Microsoft only. This is the page, Microsoft Azure AD Connect. Click download. It's just a 150 MB of tool, so you just need to save on premises AD. Fine. So we successfully installed it. What you need to do, open folder, and this is the tool that can help you to synchronize on-premises Active Directory user to Azure AD. So it's really simple. We have already created 3 different user and our agenda to synchronize these user to Azure Active Directory panel. We already created one user with name of GCP, which is help us as a global administrator. Simple step, right click and install. Run. Click on I agree, license, continue. Do not make any changes. I'm going to proceed with express setting. Don't want to configure its customize. Use express setting and wait. This is the panel. We need to provide connect to the Azure AD, and in this panel you need to provide enter your Azure AD global administrator or hybrid identity administrator credential. So global administrator user that we created with name of GCP, we need to use the same user ID and password to identify our on-premises machine. Type username GCP at domain name cloudkaksa.in and provide the password. Next. First, you need to provide the user of Active Directory panel that you created, and second, you need to provide on-premises AD user and password. This is the on-premises. Enter the Active Directory Domain Services Enterprise Administrator credential. Type your domain name cloudkaksa.in slash administrator ADMINISTRATOR and password that you used to install while installation of our on-premises server 2016. That's it. Click next. No need to make any changes. We want to synchronize each and everything. Now we are unable to find any user that we created on-premises. If we talk about on-premises user, dsa.msc, I'm going to show you the number of users that we created. Telnet, on-premises, AWS, Azure, all are the part of on-premises. Fine. Click install and wait for 3 to 5 minutes only, and you will be get the entire user will synchronize from on-premises to cloud. This is the basic step that you need to use to make a hybrid environment. And whenever you, after installation of this particular tool, whenever you create any user, you will be get the complete information about your new user on Azure Active Directory immediately. Within 30 to 40 seconds, your user will be automatically synchronized to Azure Active Directory portal. No, it's not AAD tool. It's an Active Directory AD Connect tool. Only and server and domain controller. Definitely you can do that. You can install the AD Connect tool on server 2012, 2016, 2019, 2022 as well. Installation is in progress, so we have to wait up to maybe 3 to 4 minute time. Definitely ADDS role. Admin user, the user that you use to log in the machine. In my case, what I used the administrator CMD open. This is administrator account. I'm talking about this administrator account. So machine should be logged through local administrator if you want to synchronize the user. Still in progress, it will take time. So meanwhile, just go through the content that we completed and let me know if anyone have question related to the Active Directory domain services. Sorry, hybrid environment. Is it clear, guys? Now we are able to install on-premises Active Directory domain services. It's completed successfully. And over Azure portal, we are able to find AWS, Azure, and Telnet. And this is on-premises computer name. So by using this particular tool, we are able to synchronize on-premises Active Directory user to our Azure AD portal. So this is the procedure. This is the way that you can use to synchronize on-premises machine, on-premises Active Directory user to Azure Active Directory panel. Azure AD is used cloud and on-premises. Definitely, you need to install on physical system. In case of UPN, you should be use the same UPN that you purchased from godaddy.com and synchronize with your custom domain. Then whenever you synchronize your user, because in cloudcuxa.in that we synchronize with the Azure AD, and I use the same name to install Active Directory services on premises. If you check, I used the same name to install our domain machine. That's why whenever you create Active Directory user, your domain and UPN name are equal to each other. If you check your UPN name, it's a cloudcuxa.in, AWS at the rate cloudcuxa.in. Open the Azure portal, and over Azure portal you will be find the same user associated with same domain name, AWS at cloudcuxa.in, Azure at the rate cloudcuxa.in, right? So that's why I used the same name on both cases, like as over Azure portal and on premises we use the same name to synchronize our user with same UPN name. You can say that. This is all about the synchronization. No, it's not a two-way synchronization. It's a one-way synchronization between on-premises to cloud, not cloud to on-premises. It's a one-way synchronization. Means if you create any user on Azure AD, it cannot synchronize to local. But if you create any user on-premises, it will be synchronized to the Azure Active Directory. So you can consider it as a one-way synchronization, not a two-way synchronization. Is it fine, guys? Because it's really important. No. By default, no. If you want to synchronize a password, you need to configure few services, password write back. Then it become a two-way synchronization. I'll guide you. No worry about the components that we need to cover. So we will discuss about the password hash, password write back that can help you to synchronization. Not in group. In case of our organizational unit, you want to say that how we can synchronize custom user, like as if you have a 50 user and you want to synchronize only 10 users. So in this case, what we need to do, how we can manage the custom user synchronization, right? So I'll show you the step. Yes, I think the documents that I shared, so almost entire steps are available. Please go through and let me know. Definitely, all the steps are available in our documents. Clear? So, guys, this is the basic understanding of synchronization. Let's talk about more related to the Active Directory domain services, means about the synchronization. Fine. So, next topic is related to the synchronization parts are. Let's talk about another important topic. We successfully managed the Active Directory synchronization service hybrid environment. Next agenda about Azure AD Connect tools, not tools, AD Connect components. In this case, we need to understand about the concept of how to manage custom user synchronization. This is the first practical. Second, about password hash synchronization. Third, we'll discuss about password write back policy or password write back service. Configure custom UPN suffix. So these all are the contents that we need to cover because we successfully install, we successfully configure the hybrid setup. We synchronize our on-premises user to cloud, but it's our responsibility how to manage the custom user synchronization. We need to know about the method of work of password hash synchronization and password write back synchronization. Okay, guys, and another important part, we need to know about the work of SSO as well. Why SSO come into the picture and what are the features which is contained by the single sign-in on. So it's our responsibility. We should know about the use of SSO service. Is it clear, guys? Fine. Okay, so just take a small break and connect again.